Hello, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome. Welcome to another lovely, beautiful episode of Simplified. And I greet you. I greet you as always in the greeting of the pious, the greeting of the beloveds. I greet you in the greeting of peace. May the peace and blessings of God be with you and be with me. Always, always. Amen. You know, one thing I recently realized is a very, very beautiful blessing. You know, the blessing of when somebody is about to talk and you can almost kind of think you already know what they want to say. And I feel like even though I don't see you when you're listening to the messages of Simplified, I feel like when you're listening, you kind of already know where I'm going with what I'm going to say. And even though I'm not there when you're watching it, I feel that vibe. I feel the vibe so much and I'm happy. I thank God for it. Because even though you think you already know what I want to say or what I'm going to talk about, it's a blessing of God that everything I will be saying to you is actually a reminder of what you already know or a catalyst to what you're already thinking or what you're already feeling. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Everybody in the world knows what is going on in right now. Everybody. Um, and please, I'm going to give you this disclaimer. Everything I'm going to say has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with any politics that is going on around the world. I just come in the name of God to give you the facts, the truth of our being, according to the instructions I get from God. And I pray to Almighty God that when I deliver His messages, I do a good justice to it. American election. I think we casted the election on Tuesday, November 3rd, right? November 3rd. And usually the outcome, the result of the election will be pronounced the same night. If it's not pronounced the same night, it will be pronounced overnight. So by Wednesday, when we wake up, we already know who is the new president-elect. But because of the special circumstances that surround this year for everybody, this year is a corona era. So a lot of things are different, a lot of things change. But where I'm going with this is not political. And where I'm going with this is very, very different. And it's something that is very uncomfortable for a lot of people to talk about or to hear. But I'm going to say because I have to be obedient. And I pray to God that you're obedient to when you listen to this message. So because we don't get the result of the election as usual overnight or by the morning of the Wednesday, a lot of people were developing anxiety. A lot of people, including myself, all over the world, people calling me, Abuki, do you have a winner yet? Do you have a new president yet? Or the same president? People are curious. My brothers and my sisters, we're curious about the wrong thing. This morning when I was praying, as I gave my last sujud. Sujud is when you put your head to the floor for the sake of God. The lowest you can go to God is the closest you can get to Him. If you have not been practicing it, no matter how you worship God, for the non-Muslim listeners, make it a mission when you pray to God to get closest to Him by doing sujud, by putting your forehead to the floor, to the ground, and talk to Him. And when I got to that position this morning, that's when I got this message. We're all paying attention and we're all getting our blood pressure high. We're getting anxiety. We're getting headaches because of one news, one conclusion that we're waiting for the outcome within 24 hours. What about the conclusion that is definite, but we don't know when it's going to come? And that is the judgment of God. We don't know when we're going to die. Are we looking forward to that day? You know what the prophet says before you sleep at night? Make it a practice. Write your will and put it under your pillow. And the reason for that is so that we can be conscious, constant reminder that we may not wake up tomorrow. We may go out, we may never come back. We may sleep, we may never wake up. Anything can happen anytime. Are we ready to face our Creator? Are we ready? Christians, they call it the rapture. It could be today, it could be tomorrow, it could be right now as you're watching this video. Are you ready for that? I'm going to be sincere with you. If your answer is no, we have the same answer. Neither am I. But my brothers and my sisters, we always have to be ready. We can never be ready, but we have to do our best to be ready. Be ready for that day. And the best way to be ready is to always be conscious of every action, every word, every thought, everything you see. Make sure if this is the last thing I do today, is it good enough for my Creator? Let's keep that in mind. That is a detour. Today's message, you remember, and before I proceed, I want to pray, may God Almighty prepare us for that day. May God Almighty make us ready for that day. May God Almighty, He did not sirat al-mustaqim. The steps of the righteous are ordered by God. May God order our steps to be in the right path, on the right time, in the right place, at the right time, with the right people, doing the right things. If we practice that every day, it will become part and parcel of us. And subconsciously, we'll be getting ready for Him. I want to try and be ready. And I pray to God that you try too. Today's message, really, you remember few weeks ago, like two episodes ago, we did an episode called The Power of Little People. Little people are very powerful. And I have another version of that. That is the message of today. Because while, remember, as we said, we all at every point in time can be the little person, and we all at every point in time can be the bigger person. And when we're bigger person, we have to consciously remember that the little people, the little person, has their own power and their rights as well. But this time I want to reverse our brain, reverse psychology, to think like the little person. And how can we be the best little person? A successful little person. By the grace of God, I have two stories to give us, and hopefully these two stories, and as you know that I like to give stories, one from the book of God and the other one from the road time. But today I'm going to give us the same information, but two different ends. One from the good end and one from the negative end. And which one do you want first? The good, the positive, or the negative? Let me start with the negative one first. So the positive one can be a good news. When I was in elementary school, I went to a missionary school. And every Friday, we get a missioner that comes to the school to give us special assembly and special prayer, special sermon. And on this lovely day, For the life of me, I don't remember the name of this preacher, but I remember the story he told. There was a king, and in the era of the king, he was a very, very good king. In his time, everything flourished. The farm flourishes, the river, seas flourishes, there's rain, everything in abundance. This king, every everybody in the town of this king, whenever they harvest, they always bring product of the harvest as a gift and gratitude to the king, to the palace. So at the time of harvest, there'll be abundance of yam, abundance of fish, abundance of chicken, abundance of cassava, abundance of everything. That the abundance of animals, farm animals, abundance of everything that they have harvested. They present it as a gratitude to the king. And the king had many chiefs. So, and you know, in my country we say there is Otun and Osi, the right hand of the king and the sidekick of the king. Usually the right hand of the king, the chief on the right hand, usually when the king passes on, the right-handed chief is usually the next in line. And then the left hand sidekick becomes the right hand. That is the progression of the kingship. On this lovely year, after the harvest, everybody brought their gratitude to the king, a lot of abundance of everything. And this man, the right hand man, chief, said right in front of everybody, said to the king, King, I don't think it's fair that you always get all these things and you don't even have a farm. You don't even do anything. And everybody just bring a lot of things to you. I don't think it's fair. He put the king on the spot. So the king said, so what is your solution to that? He said, I think we need to stop bringing things to you. If you want to have things too, then you can have a farm and get some laborers that work in the farm. So the king said, okay. You hear it? It's settled. No more. Lo and behold, by the end of that year, the king passed on. And I know, as I said in the beginning, you already know where this story is going. But wait. So the king passed on. Now the right hand chief became the new king. Be careful what you ask for. You may get it. It was the time of harvest. Everybody harvested, the town was happy, everything was productive, everybody was happy, going about their ways. The king, the new king, called a meeting, called everybody in the town people. You guys always bring things to the table of the king. Why is it that when I'm the king, it's different? Oh, they said you forgot you told the king in front of us that we're not supposed to do it. And we stopped. That's why we don't do it anymore. You get where that story is going. I'm going to move to the good part, the positive part of the story. And this positive part is going to be the story of somebody that you already know. The story of the most famous sidekick in the world. The story of our beloved Joseph Biden. Joe Biden was elected to become the vice president of our former president, Barack Hussein Obama. And I say that word in the most honorable, I say this name in the most honorable way I can pronounce their name. Joe Biden, former president. Former vice president. Barack Obama, former president. When Joe Biden was Barack Obama's VP, he was the best vice president. He served his boss the most honorable way you could. To the point that when Barack Obama was going to leave after his 8 years tenure, the last act that he performed as a president, or one of the last acts he performed as a president, was he gave Congressional Medal of Honor to Joseph Biden, his vice president. And he presented that to him January 7, I think January 12, 2017. And the inauguration of the new president happened January 20th, 2017. Now, to fast forward to 4 years, 3.5 years later, that same sidekick that served his boss honorably is now running to become the president of the same country, United States of America. Do you know his number one cheerleader? Do you know who is his number one trumpet? His former boss, Barack Obama. And I say your name, sir, in the most honorable way that I can pronounce your name. Former President Barack Obama was the number one cheerleader for former Vice President Joe Biden. And the reason that I'm telling this story is because even though you could be sidekick to somebody today, do that job like you are the leader, like you are that number one. Be the best number two that you can ever be, because one day you will have the chance to be the number one, and everything you have done as the number two will have to speak for you. When you apply for a job, you know the first thing they say, can you give us a reference to your former supervisors? And however you have served that company and served those supervisors will come to play, will come to cheer you on or throw you off with the new company that you're applying to work with. It's everywhere. When God gives you a chance to be somebody's number two, when you have the opportunity to be somebody's sidekick, be the best sidekick you can ever be. Because one day you will get the opportunity to be that number one. And I know there are so many stories I can tell you about this, but I know you already have a lot of stories to tell yourself. The moral of everything I'm saying today is the story of our beloved prophet Isa, Jesus Christ. He came to the world with, God just blessed them with 12 bodyguards. They're known as his disciples. And the ones that were the best sidekicks for Jesus, they continued, even in the Holy Book, the Bible, the Gospel, the book that God gave Prophet Isa, their names appear. You will see the book of Peter. His name is there. Peter's name is there. Paul's name is there. And Judas' name is there. Although he doesn't have a book, but his name appeared. The worst sidekick ever. Same as our prophet, our lovely prophet Moses. May the peace and blessings of God be with him. He was blessed with a sidekick as well. His brother, Aaron. May the peace and blessing of God be with him too. Aaron was the best sidekick to Moses. What type of sidekick are you? Are you a cheerleader to your number one? Or you are looking to dig a pit for him so he can fall, so that you can be number one? Guess what? If you dig a pit for your supervisor, for your boss, or for the person above you, somebody else will dig a pit for you too. If you don't believe me, ask Judas. Judas Iscariot. I'm telling you, in the name of God, wherever you do, be the best at it. Wherever you are, walk the line in the ways of God. Speak in the ways of God. Be the best that you can be. Because trying to be anybody else, you will always be second to them. I tell you that. My beloved simplifiers, I love you. I pray that everything I said, you understand it, you grasp it, and it comes to play for you at every junction of your life. Everything that I say that is good, all glory and adoration belong to Almighty God. And anything that I have said that is almost imperfect, God forgive me. I'm just your perfect imperfection. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, always remember, share, like, and subscribe if you haven't. Remember, please, keep the world a peaceful world. In any way any capacity that God has empowered you, make your world a better world. Make your space a better space. Make the world a better place. And every action that you take, let it glorify your God. Thank you very much. Until next time, keep it simple. Salaam alaikum.
So, Joe, for your faith in your fellow Americans, for your love of country, and for your lifetime of service that will endure through the generations, I'd like to ask the military aide to join us on stage. For the final time as president, I am pleased to award our nation's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And for the first and only time in my presidency, I will bestow this medal with an additional level of veneration, an honor my three most recent successors reserved for only three others: Pope John Paul II, President Ronald Reagan, and General Colin Powell. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom with distinction to my brother, Joseph Robinette Biden, Jr. Will the aide please read the citation?
Vice President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. In a career of public service spanning nearly half a century, Vice President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. has left his mark on almost every part of our nation, fighting for a stronger middle class, a fairer judicial system, and a smarter foreign policy, providing unyielding support for our troops, combating crime and violence against women, leading our quest to cure cancer, and safeguarding the landmark American Recovery and Reinvestment Act from corruption. With his charm, candor, unabashed optimism, and deep and abiding patriotism, Joe Biden has garnered the respect and esteem of colleagues of both parties, and the friendship of people across the nation and around the world, while summoning the strength, faith, and grace to overcome great personal tragedy. This son of Scranton, Claymont, and Wilmington has become one of the most consequential vice presidents in American history, an accolade that nonetheless rests firmly behind his legacy as husband, father, and grandfather. A grateful nation thanks Vice President Joseph R. Biden, Jr. for his lifetime of service on behalf of the United States of America.